Welcome to Caching Waves. This is your Elliott Wave update for MANTA. I wanted to come back and show you the possibility that we actually are bullish at this point. If you remember my previous videos, we nailed this to the downside, but we were looking for a 5-wave pattern, and I think what fits best is a 3-wave as a WXY complex correction. We came through the 618 retracement of this entire move and rebounded off it slowly. Is more likely a diagonal than a corrective structure. On log scale, we came to the 786 extension of this W off the X for the Y. Would have liked to come to the 1-to-1, but it's looking pretty good since the low and yesterday's action. I'm going to go down to the 1 hour and show you what I'm talking about. I would suggest you watch my previous video if you like. I had the possibility that this was a WXY and this was a flat, and we were looking for this move to the upside, not to make it a lower low like we did. And I suggested if we make a lower low, then I would probably adjust this if we got a good reaction to a diagonal, which I have done. I do think we are making a diagonal now, a micro 1-2. And finishing up a second 1-2. So potentially pretty bullish. Now the only way I would change that is if this is an A wave, this is our B wave, and this is going to make 5 waves to the upside and then come to the downside after that, and that would just create a larger ABC. But in case it's a 1-2, 1-2, as you can see, both kind of lead in the same direction. So it's a good trade to take when multiple counts aim in the same direction. So one thing to keep in mind is we usually aim when we get a wave 1 and a 2 between the 618 extension, which is right there at 298.99, or slightly higher. Usually the 382 and the 618 is standard, but when we get extensions and bigger waves, we can push past that. I've even seen them pass the 1-to-1 extension as a second 1-2 in very bullish markets. So just keeping that in mind, go down to the 15-minute. As you can see, we just spiked through 618 and really impulsed to the upside. So it's a good sign that this market is going to recover. So what I'm looking for now, considering a 1-2 complete, we'll mark that. 1-2, and we're looking for our 3-4-5 in the bullish scenario. Those are just placeholders for now. But in this micro, you can see we have our wave 1 and 2. I pulled those pivots. I'm going to get rid of this for a moment. We expect it to come to around the 2.382 extension since we just passed the 1.618 of this wave 1 off the 2 for our 3rd, 4th, looking for the 5th to complete. And what I'm going to look for, I want to see a nice correction here in a sideways consolidation or just a ABC. And I want to see, put my standard retrace on here and the 382. I want us to consolidate sideways in a channel, hold previous levels of resistance as support right above here at the previous 4th wave. So ideally hold these order blocks right here on the left and the previous area of the 4th wave, like so. And I could consider this another 1-2. And the way I would enter this trade myself, not financial advice, is buying the 382.50 and the 618. If we get that, and stop would be at this previous low of the wave 2. The price of that is 263.63 according to MEXC. Now, if you're watching the chart, this is just if I'm not around, I would just put those buy levels, because we might even not even get that that far down. Is I would wait for our A wave and the B wave and target the 1-to-1 extension. So whenever we end and we get an A wave measured off the B wave, look for the 1-to-1 as my entry. Like so, and I'd want to see a channel more than an impulse to the downside. It's not the best drawing, sorry about that. So if we stop at the 2.382, I want to see more of a channel rather than a quick rejection to the downside, right? Very different viewing waves and expectations after they're complete. So that's what I'm looking at, guys. A potential 1-2, 1-2, which is nice to the upside. And if this is an A wave, I'd still expect 5 waves to the upside. The only way we would fail is if this is actually a 3-wave move. This is something very complex as a WXY, but seems very unlikely. And then we're completing in 5 and just collapsing from here. Let me see where those targets are at. If this was a very complex move, yeah, you can see our 1-to-1 is right there around 315, which is the similar targets for our 5th. So we won't know till we get it, but we do get probabilities on our side if we make a 5-wave channel, or sorry, a 3-wave channel correction as an ABC and hold above these levels rather than a rejection hard. So that's what I'm looking for. All right, guys, Manta's looking pretty good for another move to the upside and a nice 5-wave move. I will get better targeting for this once I get a little more information here and where our pivot is. But it looks good. I'm glad this ended up making most likely a diagonal rather than a complex correction. And the big giveaway, obviously, is this 5-wave impulse. All right, guys, that's it for Manta. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.